Technology Cluster, an initiative under the aegis of the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India and the Bangalore Apartment Federation, I'm delighted to welcome you to the episode 5 of our public talk series on the science for sustainable urban living.
Bengaluru's got a new initiative to take on its biggest urban challenges. Let's see what it's all about. Ever feel the pressure of big city life? Yeah, it can be a lot, right? These challenges affect all of us. But here's the good news. Science has real answers. So, there's a new public talk series designed to help us find those solutions together. It's a team effort between the Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster and the Bangalore Apartment Federation. The whole idea is to connect scientific experts directly with residents just like you. The goal? To improve the city's resilience, its sustainability, and, well, our quality of life. Each session is super interactive. We're talking panel discussions with plenty of time for your questions. Over 6 months, the series is going to tackle some of the city's most pressing issues. But, you know, the conversation doesn't just stop when the event ends. That's a core belief here. That's why there's a Q&A portal online, so you can ask experts questions anytime. The process is simple. You submit a question, an expert checks it out, and the whole community learns. All this great info will then get packed into a handbook for sustainable city living. It's really about using proven solutions.
It is especially meaningful that today's event is being hosted here at the lush green campus of the University of Agricultural Science. We are very grateful for graciously hosting today's event and for its continued contribution to agricultural research, education, and outreach. This series is a collaborative effort between BAF and the BEST cluster over the past few months. We have explored the science behind some of the most pressing challenges shaping urban life, from waste and water to mobility and energy. Today, we turn our attention to urban farming and greening, an exciting opportunity to reimagine our apartment communities as productive, sustainable, and biodiverse spaces. Today's episode is sponsored by Godrej Living and 𝗥𝗷𝗲𝗏. We would also like to acknowledge the continued support of the Indian Institute of Science, Socrates Foundation, Bangalore Political Action Committee, Bengaluru Post, Daily Hunt, and One India. To set the context for today's gathering, I'm pleased to invite Sri Anantharaman, CEO of the Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster, to deliver his introductory remarks.
Good afternoon. Welcome to everybody. I think my name is Anantharaman, CEO for Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster. First of all, welcome to the panel members here. Thank you for agreeing to speak in this wonderful topic and in the great city of Bengaluru. I want to thank BAF team here. Satish is here, Arun is here, and everybody who has put a very hard work in making these events, not only current event, but also last 4 episodes. And we are summing it up with one more episode. It's become a 6th episode in touching various topics relevant to the city. So I represent an organization called Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster. We are part of Office of Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India. We are hosted in IISc in Bangalore, supported by other 4 institutes including NCBS, ICTS, and JNCASR. The initiative of, maybe I would take a little time to explain about what BEST is all about. Science and Technology Cluster is initiated with an aim to integrate science and technology to solve some of the social problems which we are facing. There are 8 science and technology clusters in the country representing different regions. We understand that India's problem is not homogeneous, but every city has its own problem. Bengaluru may be facing a problem of traffic, it may be having a problem of water, it can be the topic which we are talking, and some other problem which is very particular to the city. The good thing about the country is, while we are facing a lot of challenges, I think we have enough talents and strategic leadership, thought leadership within our own country which can solve this problem. Somebody has to enable it, bring the discussion to the table, see what is the problem which should be picked up the right time, and see the available solution within that particular geography, and ensure that there is a movement which goes on solving the problem. The only background which we keep is, we keep science and technology as an enabler. We strongly believe, I think many of the problems which we are facing, challenges which we are confronting, can be resolved through a proper science and technology approach. So that's where we are in BEST cluster. We are working on many problems, and these problem statements have been identified with a cluster and a consortium of thought leaders from Bengaluru. So for the phase 1, which is for last couple of years time, we have taken problems on One Health, because of obviously the challenges which we are facing on urbanization and the impact of that on human, environment and animals. So One Health is one of the challenge which we have taken. The second one is on precision agriculture. That's why we are very happy to talk on this particular topic on urban farming and greening. The other thing which we are working is on digital health. So especially we are working on diabetes, and in diabetes we are working on the impact of diabetes in foot, which is peripheral neuropathy. So there are some solutions which we are working on, how to really do an advanced diagnosis of that and then therefore save the foot from amputation. So these are some of the problem statement we are working. For the next couple of years time, we would like to take mobility as one of the challenge, and then water security is another thing which we are taking for Bengaluru city is concerned. And I'm happy to say that many veterans, many of them are sitting here, are helping us in seeing what can be the solution which can come out in next couple of years time. We take both long-term approach and short-term approach, which includes some of the impact projects which can give a result in next couple of years time, so that the citizen can benefit. Ultimately, the approach is about 2047, 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗧 self-sustainable country, because India needs to be competing and India has a capability to solve its own problem. I think we are an enablers to ensure that we really move on the right direction to achieve that self-sustainability. That's a very good background of what BEST is doing. This initiative is towards this. I am very happy to say that in last 4 dialogues, we have got very good information, insights and suggestions coming from citizen, which is making us happy. If you ask me where BEST is sitting, we would like to sit very close to the citizen, take their feedback and bring to the community, including academicians, institutes, R&Ds, industries and startups, and see whether we can able to solve it along with the cohesive approach there. So we are happy to have, and this topic is of great relevance. We are sitting in the right place also to talk about urban farming. Sometime I also feel as a citizen, why this topic should be spoken in Bengaluru, because we are a garden city. What is that problem we are facing where we are talking about greening and urban farming? But I think we have done enough of concretization. I think we need to move and make it really a green city now. I'm sure, I think the next 1 hour of dialogue, we can able to bring in some very interesting topic which can really help the city to really become green again. So I think that's where we are here today. Thank you very much for coming in, and thanks once again to BAF team for helping us in organizing and bringing the citizen communicating. So a lot of good effort which has gone in making this program well. I would request the citizen to participate. Feel free to and take the question through the scanning code, because obviously there is a time constraint, and that's why we are asking to scan, set the cost, because finally we would like to bring a book which can also be then given to the decision makers for the benefit of the city. Thank you very much. Good day. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. To commence this discussion, it's my pleasure to introduce our following this, we'll hear from Sri Satish Mallya, President of the Bangalore Apartment Federation, who will share his thoughts on the vision behind this episode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. I think welcome all to participate in this very unique program. I think we are working with some of the panelists last several years. We were not successful in implementing the urban farming across the apartment communities. I represent Bangalore Apartment Federation. We have about 1,450 apartments, so it amounts to about 3.5 lakhs households. So I think this is a big opportunity for us to implement a lot of the learnings from today's discussion, because we have STPs which produce a lot of excess treated use water, and that is excess available with us. And similarly, the solid waste management we do ourselves, so we have compost excess. So we have excess compost, we have excess treated use water. It's okay? Yeah, so we have excess treated water and no, we have a compost. So this is a combination, we can bring it a lot of things, changes in the city, whether it's for the metro line where a lot of medians, we can create a lot of greenery, plus for our own community where the terrace gardens and urban farming, everything. So I look forward for a very fruitful discussion today and bring forward a lot of solutions, and we can take it forward to the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. To commence this discussion, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished panel of speakers. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage. Dr. 𝗕𝗽𝗂𝗂𝗏𝗧, our first panelist, is Dr. 𝗕𝗽𝗂𝗂𝗏𝗧 is a distinguished horticultural scientist and former principal scientist and head at the ICAR IIHR Bangalore. He made his significant contributions to horticulture, biotechnology, floriculture, and urban farming. Over his career, he has released several crop varieties and technologies, published extensively, and received numerous national and international awards and fellowships. Dr. 𝗕𝗲𝗂𝗏𝗀𝗃. I would like to invite Dr. 𝗕𝗲𝗂𝗃𝗀𝗃. He is an agricultural entomologist and urban farming advocate with extensive experience in sustainable agriculture and community engagement. He currently serves as program executive at the Initiatives for Development Foundation and trustee of Garden City Farmers, Bengaluru. I would like to welcome Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗶𝗃. He is a scientist, innovator, and an entrepreneur with two decades of experience in plant biotechnology and genetic transformation. After a distinguished career at Monsanto Research Center, Bengaluru, he founded Hasirumane Technologies, a startup focused on affordable greenhouse solution for rural and urban living. Now, I would like to welcome the moderator of today's session, Ms. Ranjani Rao. She is the curator of programs at Quest Learning Observatory and a multidisciplinary professional whose work spans writing, education, food, and mindful living. Over a career spanning more than 25 years, she has authored 6 books, written extensively for leading publications, and facilitated numerous workshops and learning experience. If the audience has any question for the panel, you may simply scan the QR code shown on the screen and post them anytime during the session. The question will be addressed during the Q&A segment at the end of the panel discussion.
Hello. Hello everybody. Welcome to this discussion, and I hope you find it useful. I've briefly met them backstage, so I'm just going to dive right in because we also are short on time. I just want to begin by addressing the elephant in the room. What is the biggest myth about urban farming or urban gardening that you think the city needs busted?
Yeah, good evening to everyone. See, probably I might have trained more than 300 people in urban farming, I mean, especially in terrace garden. During when my IIHR as a scientist, after retirement also, I keep doing every alternate months terrace garden. What I found is, like there are a lot of myths which of course I thought I'll just tell. That I want to make it very clear that terrace garden is going to replace the farmer's produce. No, because farmer's produce also is very excellent produce. Please don't carry out by like WhatsApp universities telling that a lot of pesticides are there, a lot of pesticides. All that just tell that. So kindly don't go by that. Terrace garden, 100% it will give you a good produce. That is one thing. And second thing, it is a sort of stress buster. Definitely you get a lot of enjoyment with doing it. And most thing which I want to tell in terrace garden is you can reduce your screen time. Probably that is one which is required, like if you do terrace garden. So otherwise otherwise, please don't tell that, don't ever say that I am producing because farmers are spraying a lot of insecticide. Because I myself is a farmer from Araikal. We grow a lot of vegetables. We don't do that unnecessarily. We require to spray. That also I will tell during my. Thank you. Namaskar, everyone. Good evening. Something like Dr. Ashwath said. See, gardening is not farming. There is some special difference actually. It's what probably we will just show some pictures. So particularly I understand a person living in an apartment or something. Bangaloreans mostly that we are now going in a vertical space. We don't have space. Basically, when we started Garden City Farmers with Dr. Vishnath, one of the alumni of this university, in 2005, I'm a Bangalorean from 2002, from 25 years almost. So, what we thought is, gardening is a green lifestyle activity. It should not be considered as a livelihood activity. So, if somebody is thinking that we will grow everything and we are competing with the farmers, that is not going to be true. At the same time, it has so many advantages, and probably during the discussion that we will work on that.
Yeah, I almost have similar opinion that there are a lot of videos about terrace gardening and all that, but one of the questions people keep asking me is what are the things that you can grow? And when I say something, they will challenge me with I have seen people growing jackfruit on terrace, I have seen people growing mangoes on terrace and all that. But those are not the the crops that needs to be grown on terraces. I have a couple of slides. Probably I can speak about that more later.
Thank you for talking to us about how farming in an urban landscape is not good just for the produce that you intend to grow, but for your health as well, your mental well-being as well. And I tend to agree. I grew up in the 80s and 90s in a Bangalore that the population was less than the square footage. So, having a sprawling backyard garden was a given for, short of space and short of time, because what do you do with all the produce that you grow? Do you even know what you're growing? I, for example, didn't know urban landscapes. There's a lot of purslane is a classic example, I guess. And huli soppu, right? We put all of that in sambar and we cook. But a lot of urbanites also don't cook. So this whole connection with the food, right? It's not just about saying, oh, I have money, let me set up a terrace garden or invest in hydroponics or whatever that you would advise is appropriate. But is it also important then to establish a connection with the food that you're growing by, using your hands and tending to the garden, dealing with the produce that you have at hand? What is your take on this?
farmer cannot do it because it is his life question. He cannot say if he grows Matigulla, definitely he cannot sell it. He has to go to a brinjal without any one hole also. He should, like he has to spray. Otherwise, the city people will not buy it.
You can always, I brought my presentation with that name only, small garden spaces and big contribution to biodiversity. We have to think in that angle, not necessarily that we have to grow and we have to use, I have to be 60%, 70%, 80% of my vegetables should come from kitchen garden, terrace garden. Not like that. So you have to be in a spot, probably a green spot, and we have to create a green spot. That is the purpose of this. Probably the children today are going to 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗆𝗃 to see the butterfly park. So Bengaluru being on the butterfly corridor, so every terraces can be an opportunity to have a variety of butterflies. But that is the situation today. So we have to see somehow that how we can connect.
As you rightly said, one of the constraints for urban gardeners is the time. And also, if you go on vacation, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, if you don't care for the plants, then all your efforts are gone. So we need technologies for that, and that's what we are working on. There are technologies already, like the hydroponics, aeroponics, and all that, but they are too expensive as of right now. And also we need to modify it to our needs. We cannot use what the Americans are using. For instance, they grow leafy vegetables in vertical farms, and if you are aware, most of those vertical farms are all closed down. They all started during COVID days. In just 4 years, with millions of dollars of investment, but all of them are closed now. You can see the internet and check why they are closed down. So we have those technologies, but we need to adapt to our conditions, learning from the mistakes of what others have done. And again, I have a few slides, one slide on that, and speak about that.
So sure, that's a cue. That's a great pause and a cue. I think if one of you want to, show your presentation, please. And I also, while he sets it up, I also want to say that I really appreciate you, sir, saying that the objective is not to supplement X% of your produce intake, but to create a green oasis.
Yes. Next slide, please. I always start with a positive note. I always start with a salute to a farmer who is now growing 400 million tons of food in India, and we are almost reached 400 million tons of fruits and vegetables and spices. So it is a great achievement. Nobody is suffering nobody is dying without food. We are, excess for 4 years. Even we don't get rains for 4 years, we are self-sufficient. So that is the status of India. We are indeed increased by more than 40-50x when it comes to the 37 million tons when we got independence. Today it is 400 million tons. So absolutely it is the science and the farmers and the scientists, everyone contributed this. A great salute to everyone. And as I initially told, our agriculture produce, our producers are the best. Please don't think that, if you take the highest pesticides in the world, it is the America first. We are in the 12th position actually. We are in 12th position. America followed by Japan, Vietnam, all developed countries. So don't ever think that our produce is bad, something like that, which is all like WhatsApp universities. So of course, see, as I said, I don't really like compare our farming with yeah, please.
Clarity is not there this time.
But
Something we done. Clarity.
clarity. I will like switch off. See, this is what is I thought like urban farm. I mean like a terrace garden or like urban. So we should always think about like soilless cultivation, where we have a less land and water. We have a like now everybody talks about climate change. Yes, of course now we are seeing that a lot of climate change is there. Now we have to use less fertilizers, less pesticides. Then we have now 98 smart cities are there. Urban population is increasing. So the other one is the food miles, because now after this war, now we are coming a big problem with the petrol and diesel, where our food is traveling. So that we have to reduce. So because see now from Simla we are getting the potatoes from North India. It's almost travels 3,000 kilometers. So 1 kg of potato travels from Simla to Bangalore. It takes a lot of mileage. So that is where like WHO and everybody now struggling to reduce the food miles. And this is again one more thing which we are. Then higher nutritious. I'll tell you like how we can really go for higher nutritious. And these are all possible now with the soil cultivation, because now there are technologies. Of course, I do agree with the Kshev-Kumar, but I'll show you Kshev-Kumar. Like now we have tailor-made technologies for the Indian also. I know that like most of the companies they have closed down. But in India also, in Bangalore, around 36 hydroponic units was there. I was a consultant. Most of them they have closed down not because of technology. It is because of rate. Because the person who is growing, like for 10 rupees he gives a kg of spinach, and a hydroponics fellow he has to sell it for 100 rupees. So he is not able to sustain. Otherwise, the technologies are there. Tailor-made technologies are there for even a small this one also. So in this another 15 minutes, I am going to highlight these things. What type of structures can be used, like whether really we can, we have to manipulate light and shade, whether what type of water we have to use, what type of containers we have to use, then media, then seeds and seedlings, fertilizers, pests, all these I am going to cover. So if you have questions, you can ask me. I love to take questions. So coming to the structures, like what type of structures we have to use. So many people ask me whether it requires polyhouse, like on the top, whether I have to require polyhouse, or what type of like hydroponic structures is required, what type of aeroponic structures are required. So it is a simple thing, absolutely. You can grow without any structures, we can grow just on an open terrace also you can grow. If you have structures, it is very good. And I tell you where structure is required, where structures are not required. And in summer in Bangalore, most of the vegetables can be grown from January to December without any problem. Bangalore climate is such a nice climate. All the vegetables can be grown throughout the year without any problem. And the only thing you have to slightly manipulate the light. Not you don't directly need to manipulate, but there are some technologies where we can really manipulate the light. And this is a small structure which is there on my terrace. So this structure I made it exclusively for hydroponics and aeroponics to keep inside. Otherwise, only thing is whenever you make a structure, please ask your engineer, because the wind capacity, wind speed, all these things you have to think about it. And then you have to make structure where the wind is not really, because on the terraces it is very dangerous to make structures, like wind may take it. So otherwise, if wind is, like an engineer can suggest a small structure is enough for a small hydroponic and aeroponic unit. Otherwise, you can grow just like this. This is a vertical farming which the patent is with me. Of course, the structures are everywhere without, even though I have a patent. So we have made beautiful structures where it can really suit your apartment. Even if you have a 5 by 7 space on east side or west side, this type of structures will fit, and you can grow a lot of your soap-borne vegetables. Of course, this we wanted to do it commercialized and gladiolas. But most of my stuff, I have these structures also in my house, vertical structures. And otherwise, this is like what I am growing on my terrace. See, what I did was, I just, growing this thermocol, thermocol boxes, which is very, very difficult to eliminate. People just throw, they trash it, it is a big hazardous. So these thermocol boxes are 10 years old, absolutely no problem. They will not degrade, unlike plastic, they will not degrade. Only thing you have to, make 1 feet stand. On 1 feet stand you have to keep. Otherwise seepage will be a problem. So if you make 1 feet stand and keep this thermocol and just use coco peat and compost. Each box, even though each box, it is hardly weighs around 20 to 25 kgs. So absolutely without any problem on open terrace you can do it. You can see here the grow bags which are kept on the terrace. This is a very bad. That is why most of the terrace gardens are closed, because when you keep directly on the ground on the terrace, a lot of seepage problems will come. So you keep just on 1 feet stand, then your problem of seepage is solved. Absolutely, you don't feel any seepage at all. So then coming to second, this light and shade. See, in Bangalore, we get around 1,10,000 lux, normal light, say lux. So nowadays, of course, in scientists, they measure in different terms, but in normal term, we call it as a lux. So in Bangalore, we get around 1 lakh to 1.1, and you can see tomato, chili, brinjal, gourds. That means around 70,000 lux is required. So this you grow during your summer. And coming to beans, cabbage, cauliflower, beet, they require around 40 to 60, and leafy vegetables around 30. So you can just keep what on east side, west side, on this depending on the type of vegetables. Otherwise, you need not alter anything on your terrace. Absolutely nothing is required. Only during summer, probably temporary shade if you give, that is more than enough. Temporary shade. And nowadays, even there is one small type of cloth is coming, that is called a crop cover. It is available in Amazon. You just put a crop cover on the between 11 to 3 o'clock on all your plants. It will not damage the plants, and you take it out. So that is simple. You need not alter anything just for light side. So this is my second. Coming to the third, which is very, very important. Of course, Chanakya sir is here. Now he is converting the grey. So even though the rainwater is the best, if you harvest the rainwater, that is the best water for gardening. That is the best, and it is like an amruta. Kaveri water is best, but I don't advise, because Kaveri water comes from 100 kilometers. So I don't advise you to use it for gardening. It is for other purposes. See, if you have a borewell, if your borewell TDS, it is called total dissolvable salts. If your TDS is less than 400, it is very good. If it is around 500 to 1000, still you can make your garden without any problem. Between 1000 to 1500, it is manageable by using some small, like mixing water and so many things. If it is more than 1500, it is not suitable. Lot of your problem comes, the plant will not grow properly, lot of deficiencies will come. So many will ask me whether RO wastewater which is there, whether I can use it. Yes, of course you can use it. But if your borewell is already 1500, that RO wastewater also will be more than 1500. So it is not advisable. Depending on you will get a TDS rate for 2000 rupees. So high TDS is very difficult to manage. But if you have a rain harvesting, if you rain harvest the water and mix this high TDS water, definitely it will. So a thumb rule is that if your borewell is more than 1000 feet, definitely it will have a high TDS. So this is one thing. If your borewell water is around 500 to 600 feet, then it is a good water. So this is a thumb rule. So coming to the type of containers, as Shivkumar told, we have we have worked out a lot of structures which is exclusively tailor made. So as I said, even if you have a 5 by 7 feet, that is enough. If you have 10 feet also, we can make it. It's all tailor made. Hydroponics we can make. Hydroponics new system we have made. It is called big system. Then all these systems I have on my terrace. So I am time tested, and I made it a sort of like that. This can be fit anywhere, whatever the space which you give, we can fit in there. And these are the type of structures which we can really think about, in whether it is an apartment or a terrace or anywhere, like on balcony or anywhere. So these are the system which I'll just go. See, this is a big system, of course. If you want, you can have 2 also. So small hydroponic system also I have with just like 10 or 20, like just two pipe system. then this is another thing. Even if you have space of 5 by 7, this system can be fit into it, and most of your leafy vegetables can be grown here. It is only leafy vegetables can be grown here. And this is the big system. As I said, if you want to go on 15 days vacation, so just we made a small wick on that pot, and that wick is dipped in the water, and a timer is there. So even if you don't come for 15 days, the timer will take care of water, and the plants will grow. Just after after 1 month also you can come and harvest your water. So this is also tailor-made. Whatever the space you give, we can really make a tailor-made. This is a very good system, especially for the people who are going out frequently on vacation. Big system. It can be adapted to any small pot, big pot, and different pot. This is called ebb and flow. I only made this system where a pipe, there will be a pipe, the water will go, 1 inch water will be there always, and if 2 inches is there, water will come, and again it goes. So this is also a system where you can grow bigger plants also. So there only smaller plants here, even bigger plants also like tomato, brinjal, chili, all these plants can be grown here. And this is of course aeroponics, which again I only tailor-made. So this almost 120 pots, small, especially this kothambari, spinach and all can be grown. You can keep on the open terrace also without any problem. And this is also completely automatic system. You need not be there. Even 1 week if you are not there also, the plants will go on their own. This can be kept in somewhere like east or west or whatever, whichever the place, and the plants will grow without any problem. So this is a system where we made it for Gujarat, where most of the houses now they have a centralized AC. You can just keep this system which I have shown earlier in your AC room or next to your dining table and give light. So these lights also we have standardized, like how many lights is required, and we have standardized. It requires a good temperature AC, and you just keep it next to your dining table and you can just eat without any problem. Even without washing also you can eat. And this is a system where like with Gujarati company, I made tailor-made, and now he is selling this type of like structures where they can keep 1 or 2 structures in home, and you can make your own like spinach or lettuce and different types of leafy vegetables can be grown. And of course this is another thing where on open terrace, this is also automatic system where there will be around 100 liters of water is there in the pipe, and it keeps circulating, just you have to sprinkle the seeds. It will take care. It is the same, so especially for the SOPO system. And this is again vertical system. Just if you have a space of 5 into 7 system, this vertical system can be used. See, the slope is very important. The type of media which we are using, these are all standardized without any much. And a simple system again I made it is on my terrace. These are all there on my terrace. A small again system, like with drip irrigation as well as big irrigation. So you can grow all your vegetables here, whatever the type of vegetables which you have. So this is a type of structures which is very well fit into your system of whether it is an open terrace or your apartments, whatever spaces. Coming to the media, see, this is very important. What I suggest is soil, if you use, you have a problem, because soil is, even though it is a very good, the soil is a living thing, soil is very good, but you have inherent problems with the soil, because once if you have a terrace, the weight is more. Then if the plant is grown, when you pluck, the soil will be very compact, very difficult to eliminate, and so many things. And if you have a root rots, it will continuously, root rots, you cannot eliminate it from the soil. Whereas in coco peat and all other compost, there is no problem at all. See, most of the people they use horse manure, sheep manure, especially Maoris, they bring, like horse manure, sheep manure, everything can be used. It is only thing is it should be well decomposed. See, most of the cow dung they bring which are raw. So during decomposition, the pH will increase, reduce to almost 2.5 to 3. So that is why most of the plants will not come. So if you have a good, manure with a 50% coco peat, it suffices. Otherwise, there are very good peat moss per light. They are all very expensive. I don't advise, because peat moss is almost 125 rupees a kg. But a simple coco peat with vermicompost take care of your entire terrace garden without any problem. See, this is one, like just if you have a coco peat, just this is a zucchini plant, just remove it, you just shake it, entire coco peat will go. That will not happen in soil, which will become very compact. So kindly avoid soil, so that half of your problems will be solved if you avoid the soil. So that definitely there is other things. See, coco peat also when you buy, See, this is normally a coco peat is undecomposed, coco peat will decompose. You will get this type of yellowing. That means that you have a coco peat problem. So nowadays, of course, coco peat, very good coco peats are available. Otherwise, within 1 or 2 months, a coco peat will decompose and you can use it. But inherent problems also will coco peat if you are buying a bad coco peat from the shop. Then coming to the seeds and seedlings, this is where actually, like as I said, this is called open pollinated, normal seeds. Whenever you go to a friend's place, you just pluck one part or 2 parts you bring, and if they are very good heirloom varieties are there like 𝗦𝗵𝗶𝗃, whatever, you can bring those seeds. They are called open pollinated seeds. You can make plants from them. But you will get some hybrid seeds. Hybrid seeds are the one which you get in shops or Amazon, where you cannot make plants out of these hybrid seeds. And there are F1 hybrid seeds, again mostly farmers use. This also now you will get in Amazon. They are high yielders, very good yielders. If you give fertilizers, they yield, like each tomato plant will give up to 20 kgs also, F1 hybrid plant. Whereas a normal hybrid or a normal open pollinated will give around 2 kgs, 3 kgs. F1 hybrid will give 20 kgs. So there are farmers are growing, but I suggest like open pollinated and hybrid seedlings are available in so buy only open seed pollinated, and don't try to save the seeds. If your packet, if it is there on F1 hybrid or hybrid, don't try to save those seeds, because when you put those seeds, you will not get the same plant. They change, the segregation, they will segregate. So open pollinated, whenever you visit somewhere, if you feel that they are good, plug them, bring them. Then nowadays, lot of seedlings the people are raising. There are nurseries, they raise the seedling. You just take the seedlings from them, and there are many where beans and all you can directly sow it. Otherwise, seedlings you can buy from nurseries. So coming to the fertilizer, again I have a small difference with like many people like they say organic, that only you should not use any fertilizers, anything like that. But as an agriculture scientist, we found that there is nothing wrong in using fertilizers. There is nothing wrong in because fertilizers, when we give it to the plant, inorganic fertilizer, they will be converted by the plant, and the plant will give it as a protein or an organic only. It will never give, when you put DAP, it will not give as DAP. It will give as a protein only. So there is nothing wrong in putting a fertilizer. Of course, I don't say that like use pesticide, but when it comes to fertilizers, like very good fertilizers are available now. See, there are organic fertilizers, organic like biofertilizers are like 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗧 is there, 𝗨𝗿𝗯𝗵, Pseudomonas. All these fertilizers are available. They are very good. Absolutely, there is no problem. But if you want to really your plant to grow very well, you have to use some inorganic fertilizers. So there are normal fertilizers like DAP, like 19 or 20 all is there available in shop, which is around 15 rupees a kg. And now beautiful, excellent water soluble fertilizers are there. You have to use only just 1 gram of fertilizer, and you just have to spray. Sir, I'll take it. Yeah. So these are fertilizers. So very good fertilizers are available. So don't think that if I see you just spray fertilizer and eat that fruit, nothing will happen, because a lot of micronutrients are there in the fertilizers. So if you eat micronutrients, nothing will happen. So it is a myth that we are eating a lot of inorganic fertilizers. It is very bad. Of course, it is bad in soil. That is a big topic. Where a lot of fertilizers have used. The blocks have become, the soils have become very alkaline. That is by farmers. But when it comes to the terrace garden, a low quantity of inorganic fertilizers if you use, your terrace will become very well actually. See, this is like normal fertilizers, which is called DAP, muriate of potash, sulphate of potash, NPK. These are NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, which is required, and there are micronutrients, and those are water soluble. It is all available, so there is nothing wrong in using it. Absolutely, there is no. You can take it from me. You just spray fertilizer, you eat that immediately, nothing will happen. So it is not it is a myth. Okay. Then see, this is how you just put your fertilizer and water it. So the plant will take. So you need not bother anything, you have to mix or it will dissolve very nicely. So you can grow even, see, curry patta I am growing, all the plants of vegetables I am growing on my terrace without any much problem. If at all some people has got some sort of I have to use soil, yes, just use some 50 grams of soil, that's all. Don't use too much of it, because soil has got an inherent capacity to grow microbes. Yes, if you have that sentiment, you put some soil, red soil, which is around 50 grams. Don't put more soil into the terrace garden. So these are all the things which I have grown. These are the things which safely you can grow without any problem, like lettuce, chili, almost all vegetables can be grown on terrace without any much problem. So coming to pest and disease, again it is a myth that lot of pesticides we have to spray, nothing like that. See, one thing you have to say that there are insects will be there. So if you allow insects also to eat 25% of your produce, 75% you can use by yourself. There are diseases which is not will not cause you fortune. They maybe 10%, 20% of your plants may die out of diseases. So I don't recommend any fungicides, but I recommend insecticides because see, especially when you have aphids, thrips, mites, leaf miner, whiteflies, you will never get any produce. So there is a spray of insecticides. See, if you spray an insecticide on this, there is one insecticide called Tracer, okay, spinoside. It is absolutely, there is no, it is not a dangerous insecticide. So there are many insecticides, they are not dangerous. They are called contact insecticide. Just you will go and kill the bug. So if you wash, that insecticide will go. There are insecticides, they are called systemic insecticide. They are the one which is bit, dangerous. But when we cook vegetables, no insecticides will be there. So please don't think that. See, if you see a caterpillar, either you take it physically, kill it. Otherwise, you can spray a little insecticide. See, these are the aphids. Very, very difficult. Like almost all the plants they will attack. So if you spray a small insecticide, like Tracer. Tracer is the organic insecticide. Of course, it is by bioenzyme from the insects only. They will take care of this. This is the leaf miner. Again, it is a big problem in most of the terrace gardens. So this is again mealybug. Most of my terrace people say that this way mealybug is a problem. So these are all either physically you can catch and kill or use insecticide. You can call me, I will give my number. I will give a very safe insecticide. See, only thing is insecticide will not stay in coco peat. Insecticide will stay in soil for 15 to 20 days. Whereas in coco peat, they will not stay. They will just leach out without any problem. So systemic insecticide, even if it comes to your beans, say suppose when you cook your beans, insecticide will degrade with 100 degrees. So there is not much problem. And still if you want to take more cautious, you don't spray insecticide on your fruits or vegetables. You spray on the plant leaf, nothing will happen. So this is again whitefly. This is also a big problem. Very difficult to grow with this type of bugs or insecticide. There are plenty of insects, which trouble you, and diseases also, like lot of viral diseases are there. This is mildew. Just caustic soda, if you spray, this mildew will go. So this is again, if you keep doing it, definitely you can control without any much problem. So again, deficiencies will be there. As I said, if you put NPK and micronutrients, you keep spraying, these deficiencies will not come. This is all, if you want to do farming, this you have to take care. On terrace garden, don't worry if your plant leaf looks little yellow, you don't bother much. You keep spraying, nothing will happen, and your produce you will get it. So this is all, as I said, aeroponics, even you can just put it on inside your house. Water will be there on the back side, and you just put light, it will become. And these are all, they're all big irrigated plants. And probably in Bangalore, we want to see that this type of pillars will be there, or metro pillars. Definitely we can make with the hydroponics and aeroponics, this type of things. So this is my number. If anybody wants to contact, you can contact me definitely, and we'll set up also whatever the way, tailor-made things which you are. But as I said, you please don't say that I'm growing my vegetables, I'm not buying farmers' vegetables are not good. Please, this is my humble request, because I know what are the farmers. Farmers, their livelihood is depending on our vegetables. You grow your vegetables and plant just for your relish and your health. Not much to replace to the farmers. Thank you very much. This from my side. Yeah. At the end. At the end.
Okay, I will ask.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting into technology, but ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಹುಳ ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಡಿಸಿಷನನ್ನು at the end of the day that you can decide on that what you want to do. So this is what we have promoted, we have told in last 25 years in Bengaluru, because you are more privileged, more forward. You're not like, you should not think like a farmer. That's what we always say. That is, so you are an urbanite. So you also start thinking like a farmer, then it will not work. So that way, some of these rights, they only, these rights stop. So that way, of course, the technologies and other things that sir has already told, and there are so many things that we can discuss as we move on. So that, as I was telling you, wherever I go, that I just try to put this title, small garden spaces and big contribution to biodiversity. That way, say, as urbanites, that we should start thinking. So that way, so some of these pictures, quickly. This is what Dr. Vishwanath, I was with him from 2005. Probably sir is also a student, and so he is the one of the particularly, of course, he was very much fond of urban foodscapes. He was very much fond of urban foodscapes, particularly growing vegetables. I, as a farmer from a farming background and farming scientist, not necessarily that it should be food crop. It is something green that we should start growing in our small spaces. That's what I always think. One point that we just which is the back one? Okay, farming and gardening, that's what I was telling. Some point that we have to discuss somewhere, that whether we are farmers. How many of you are farmers except Dr. Ashwath? None of you are farmers. Urban farming and greening. Farming is something. Farming is what farmer does. That is the point Dr. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 always used to tell, Vice Chancellor here, and of course I trained under him for some time. So farming is what farmer does. That is the basic definition that we need to understand. So when we see that we are farmers, probably something comes in our mind is all these activities. That you have to have land, you have to start growing, you have to have animals, you have to have compost, vermicompost and other things. So many things, of course. So as a farmer, probably you start thinking, and you can always look at it. When you think of gardening, probably these small things. Say I have small 50 square feet balcony space, I have 100 square feet terrace garden, I have only 300 square feet spaces, I want to grow something, what I want to grow, can I grow some vegetables, or only maybe I don't have light, so I have terrace, but my neighbors have built towers there, so only during some time of the day that we get light. So those things, of course, like he has already discussed, something that when it comes to gardening, probably people start thinking only this much that I can grow. Something that, so all these things, probably you would have the pleasure of growing crops in the small spaces. All these things. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 is sitting there, some of these pictures from her gardens. Of course, many of her colleagues, her friends, many of our Rotarians, that they have start growing. So these points that I just want to bring home today. See, when it comes to farming, there are certain things that you need to look at it. When it comes to gardening, that you have to compare probably somewhere there. So purpose, sir was telling, when it is farming, if you are putting a word farming, then something livelihood. So it is his livelihood, so you cannot, probably if all of you are farmers, probably I would have talked in a different manner. As you are all gardeners, I am talking like this. So I know how to differentiate between a farmer and a gardener. So that is the issue. So it is, many of you are probably not earning your livelihood. Of course, gardening, mostly own use, your own use. Outreach, household, neighbors, occasional sales. Most of us, I have seen, at least I am in a group of about 30,000 organic terrace gardeners. Most of them are not selling. They are all sharing. So when you are sharing, then there is no question of sales of course, commercial interest. Scale, it's a small scale when it comes to garden. Of course, large scale, if you want to do it, if you want to make it as a livelihood, probably you can discuss always. Usually not for market oriented. We are not growing anything for market. If you are growing roses, if you are growing jasmines, if you are growing some vegetables, hydroponics and other things, okay, we will discuss on that. Labor, mostly self-managed. We always say gardening is owner's job. It is not that, no sir, my gardener has not come long time, there is lots of weeds in my garden, I am not in a position to manage it. So whenever you go there, if you can differentiate, it is a crop, it is a weed. So that moment only that you should be in a position to remove that. So it is mostly the family labor. And of course, limited commercial planning. In gardening, there should not be, there need not be too much of planning here. Of course, if you plan, you will get better. So that is what I got. So finally, if the activity stops tomorrow, does the person's livelihood get affected? So this point, if you start thinking, so you can differentiate between gardening and farming. So what I want to do, whether I want to do farming, I want to do gardening. So this point probably you can ponder around, and I am not getting into the technologies and other things. This point we always say, we are not farmers, we don't want to compete with farmers. Farmers don't need your sympathy at least, but you have to be empathetic towards their problems. So if you say that 2 tomato plants, 5 tomato plants, that I am not in a position to manage, so you think of farmers growing acres together. So at least for that purpose, think that, so farmers are in distress. So if you can understand the difficulties of the farmers, one purpose of gardening is served. So for that purpose, gardening is very important. Second point that I just want to only few minutes. This is our brand Bengaluru. I have not seen much of greenery in Bangalore because I am just 25 years old here. But otherwise, many of you are born and brought up here in Bangalore have seen the changes over a period of time. So as IISc and other things, this is a study of IISc over years. Of course, the latest one has come. In last 40, 45, 50 years, what had happened to Bangalore, to our greenery, to our water sources, and all those things. So this is the research from IISc, from TVR and 𝗏𝗏 and others. They are continuously working on this. So this, of course, I need not explain. How can I be part of making this place greener again? So we have to be here, we have to be part of this place. So can we create certain occasions to make it more greener? So that is one purpose of gardening. We have to look at it, and if you are discussing and working on strategies to make it more greener, somewhere that we have to create occasions to make it greener. So there are many occasions that you get, your birthdays, your anniversaries, your maybe festivals. All the time that I will plant one thing. One sir was showing one curry leaf plant, many curry leaf plant of course. I just want to keep one curry leaf plant on my terrace. Only one. All of you can do it. So that is possible. It is not difficult at all. So if you decide today, tomorrow morning, that plant will come to your house. And of course, technology is not difficult, always available. The third point, whenever we say gardening, using potable water for gardening is a criminal offence. That's what we said last year, of course 2 years back. There was BBMP even fined 5,000 rupees for people having gardens and using water. And we are not at all bothered about water. We have plenty of water. Only thing is that you have to practice safe grey water practices. So these things that we are doing, and this water cannot be used for gardening purpose. And of course, this water we are always using all the suppos, all the leafy vegetables, leafy greens, many vegetables are washed and grown in this water. Because it is growing from our houses, the surface water is like this. So you cannot blame the farmers. It is going from your houses. So somewhere as maybe community people or maybe apartment dwellers, just imagine that how much of water is going, and all the supermarkets will have these materials at the front. So they know that people are looking for all these kind of cleansers in the first place, or other things next. So that way somewhere, so what we can do, of course there are so many things may not be part of today's discussion. So all these things that on a daily basis, and we are getting this to our kitchens. Whatever you say that this is going to happen, and this is already happening. So those things that you can, of course, safe grey water practices, as sir was telling, many products are available today, botanical origin, microbial origin, safer products, not synthetic products. All these kind of products are available today. We can always start looking at least. So I know that I cannot tomorrow morning in 24 hours that I cannot change, not possible. 5%, 2%, 10%. So these kind of changes are possible that we can always look at it. When it comes to gardening, segregation at source is very, very important. Unless you segregate, you cannot convert the wet waste into compost. So segregation, so gardening is not just growing some plants. Along with that we need compost. We can convert lots and lots of wet compost, wet waste from, you should not be calling it as waste, so we can call it as black gold or something like that once it is converted into good quality compost. So it is always possible. Only thing is that your compost bin is not a dustbin. So something that it has to go in a proper manner. So that way that segregation at source is very, very important, and otherwise that just for your information, you know better than me, all of you, that what happens, all these materials that we are throwing, at least single-use disposables. We are throwing so much, so when you start gardening, don't think that growing something, along with that something others also that you can always do, refuse disposable and reuse disposables. These things that continuously that if you start doing as gardeners, so gardening is one side possible, lots of compost can be produced at home and you can use it. There are technologies that we can learn, techniques that we can always learn. So all these things, people have to see, government has to make a rule to do all these things. Being urbanites, being educated, that which was our responsibility. So we did not do. The ones that the system or the courts have made rules, then we started doing it. So this is the situation that what we are facing. Of course, I am not getting into that. So that way, when it comes to urban gardening, it is not just growing some plants, converting the compost, converting the wet waste into compost, and using reusing water, rainwater, safe grey water, all these things that you should think of it. I differ a little bit from Dr. Ishwar that food what we eat is not that safe. So it is not that the insecticides, pesticides, fungicides that what we are using is not dangerous or something. The way we are using it different. So we suggest as scientists that if I say that if you have to use 0.25 ml or 0.5 ml, 2 ml, so people won't follow like that. So they use lots and lots of. So today's document, today's the studies, papers suggest that we consume minimum 40 different type of synthetics on a daily basis. 40 different types of synthetics. It is not that tomorrow morning we will have some problem. So we are using it from last so many years, nothing happened. It cannot happen like that. So there is an opportunity. They are looking for an opportunity. Sometimes that it can express, sometimes it may not express. So that we have to see why should it happen, something like this. These are not the pictures from somewhere. This is all from Karnataka only. And this did not happen in 24 hours, over a period of time. So 40, 50 years of usage of this kind of materials. This is the endosulfan poisoning what we say. Endosulfan is not bad. As an entomologist I am telling you, endosulfan is not bad. The way we use endosulfan is bad. So they were supposed to be spot application, but people started using helicopters and nowadays of course drone spraying. So it will not differentiate between a place where it has to be sprayed and where it is not to be sprayed. So that way, so somewhere, so you as urbanites, that you start thinking what we can do. So why should we have this in our house, in our neighbor's house, in our villages, in our hobbies, something. Why should I just think of the difficulties of the parents to bring them up? And this is not just because of only one pesticide or something like that, continuous usage of certain pesticides. These are documented truths. So and of course, there may not be a direct evidence to show that this kind of autism and other things because of the food what we eat, but food what we eat, water we drink, and air that what we respire. So all these can be a causes for certain of these kind of things, and on a daily basis that we are seeing the results. So that way I am stopping here. As urbanites, as humans, that we should always look at the whole of this universe, where we stand. Nowhere, as humans, you are nowhere. So if you cut that mammals into 5,500 pieces, we are a small dotted line. And if you just think that nothing is, it is not poisonous to me, nothing happens or something like that, that is not true, unless and until that you respect the strata, the organisms below you. So probably you cannot survive in that manner. So respect all other organisms probably in water, life in soil. So if you are not respecting life in water, life in soil, probably as urbanites, urban gardening, more privileged, educated, there is no meaning for all these things. So that way, so when we promoted gardening, we thought that we know that it is not easy. We were knowing that it is not easy. But start somewhere, enjoy this process. So there are so many advantages, particularly for children to a learning spot, for elderly a spending spot. So you can leisurely spend your time. So that way, so this gardening that we as garden city farmers, that we started promoting so many things. Dr. Vishwanath always used to tell, urbanites know how to do gardening. They do not know why to do gardening. So that way, how is so many videos that you have at the fingertips today, YouTube and so many videos you can learn. But why is very, very important as urbanites, that if you can differentiate between the word farming and gardening. So probably today's session can throw some light here, and probably we should get ourselves enriched. Thank you so much.
question. It is a very good question because nowadays, too many seeds are available in Amazon or Angadigalu hodrunu ashte. See, open pollinated is the one where there is a plant, you collect the seed. If it is a normal plant. If it is a hybrid, see, normally we scientists create hybrid, and hybrid means we cross A into B, and we take some 4 or 5 generations, we stabilize it, and then we call it as a hybrid. Okay, so that is the one which is hybrid, which is more yielding and less diseases and all. One more step is, one is called F1 hybrid, first generation hybrid, where we cross A into B, and seeds you will get it, and those seeds is over. Again you have to go to a company. Again you have to go to company and buy seeds. So that is called an F1 hybrid. They are extremely high yielders. Very good, everything. So that is only companies are selling F1 hybrid seeds. But normal OP seeds antandre, say suppose now if it is not a hybrid, you go see some plant is there, the seeds are there drying, you can collect it just. So open pollinated. So chances are there that sometimes that same seed the same type of plant you may not get it. Otherwise they are low yielders, but they are acclimatized well to the environment. Whereas hybrids and F1 hybrids, they are extremely sensitive. If you give more fertilizer, they absorb more fertilizer. They give. See sir, tomato, a normal one which gives around 5 kg, say suppose 2 kg OP, whereas the hybrid will give around 6 to 7 kg. F1 hybrid will give around 25 kg. That is the difference. But farmers are using all F1 only, and people they say that your hybrid alien 𝗧𝗹𝗂𝗧𝗧 takatilla and all my mother used to tell. But not like that actually. See, scientists when we release a variety in tomato, we look at only lycopene. Okay. So lycopene is the one which is very interesting. Say suppose rice variety if you want to release, you will release a particular nutrient we see, and those nutrient we concentrate and we bring it to a plant, and that plant will give it. So there is again means that hybrids are not good, locals are good, but taste wise definitely it differs because with a change of taste will be there when we cross many there are different parents.
Good evening. Good evening.
1 minute. Right. The simple thing is, open pollinated are almost like natty seeds. Hybrids are high yielding varieties, something like that. That's what we say. There is no wrong in using hybrids, but as sir said, hybrids need different type of the profile, soil profile. So that is very difficult for urbanites to provide. So for that purpose, generally it is suggested to go for local open pollinated varieties so that they are anyway low yielders, and you should be happy with something what you get.
I didn't get my answer.
Sorry,
I know. How to differentiate between a natty variety of tomato and a hybrid variety of tomato? Not easy. So only after seeing it is the scientist's job. Scientists can differentiate. For you, if I give you a natty tomato seed and then a hybrid tomato seed, probably it is not easy for you to, once you have planted and harvested, after seeing the fruits that you can differentiate. For a scientist, probably you can even differentiate with a seed, not for a layman. Difficult. Even for the scientist, also difficult.
Buy it will be there. If you are really buying seeds, it will be there. Okay, hybrid, F1 hybrid, other.
Good evening, respected speakers. My question is for Dr. Rajendra sir. Sir, now with regarding to pesticides you were mentioning, ಸಂತೆ ಅಂತ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವು ತರಕಾರಿನ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ತೊಳಿತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಳಿತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಂಬರ್ 1. ನಂಬರ್ 2, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ದೇವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಭಾರ ಹಾಕಿ ನಾವು ಸಂತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. But if you see the same photo, all the parents are very healthy. No, I saw all smiling. What I mean is, how is that it has affected the children and not the parents? The parents are the ones who are eating the vegetables. So, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಂತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ತರೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾ ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ they are literally misusing the goodness of people because they are charging so high. So please educate me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry if I have crossed my limit in my question.
No. Organic is what you grow. First definition. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬೆಳೆದಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಹೇಗೆ ಬೆಳೆದಿರ್ತೀರಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ that I know that what to use, what not to use. Organic is what you grow. ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಈಸ್ highly diluted. Just putting a sticker organic vegetables, organic rice, it will not happen. So ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಟ್ರೇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಲೈಟಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಶಾಪಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಐಟಮ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಹಿಮ್, ಸೊ ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್. ಸೊ ಡೂ ಯು ನೋ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್? ಸೊ ಇಫ್ he says yes I know sir, I can give his number, you can call him, you can talk to him, you can visit him, their farm, then probably you can little bit agree, yes ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಆಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ, something that they have checked. If he says sir it is organic, if you want to grow, if you want to buy, you buy, otherwise leave it, then you are sure that they are also not having any idea of where it has come or something like this. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದೊಳಗೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಸೇ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸರ್ಟಿಫೈಡ್. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. ಜನರಲಿ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ಗ್ರೋನು, ಅವರು ರೈತರು ಅವರೇ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್, ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಓಕೆ. ಬಟ್ if somebody is using the word organic, then they have to get it certified. Certification is an auditing process. Somebody is there, of course ಇಂಡಿಯಾದೊಳಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ that there is some kind of auditing. People will go check what are the practices that they have grown ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಎರಡನೇದು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸನ್ನ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ಸನ್ನ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾರ್ಸಿನೋಜೆನಿಕ್. ಈಗ ತರಕಾರಿನ ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್. ಒಂದು ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿ ಇಸ್ ಹೈಲಿ ಪ್ರೋನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ಬೋರರ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹುಳ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಅದು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೋ ರಿಸ್ಕಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸೋ ಡೇಂಜರಸ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈಸಿ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್. ದ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಎವ್ರಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಡೇ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹುಳ ಇರದಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಹೋಲಿರುವಂಥ ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೈಲಿ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇಡ್, ಹೈಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ನಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದನ್ನು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ವಿ ಆಸ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ಸನ್ನ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಪ್ರೀ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್, PHI ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರೀ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಅಂತ, PHI ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 3 weeks ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯು ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬರ್ದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿನ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಕಾಯಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿ 3 ವಾರ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಟರು ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾರೂ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗಾಗಿ ಅದು ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಬೀಜ ಬಂದಿರ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೀ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ನ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಸೈಡ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸೈಡ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅಂದರೆ there are some technologies we can always look at it. ನೀವೇ ಬೆಳೆದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದೊಳಗೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒಂದು ವಿಲೇಜನ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ, ನೀವು ಬೆಳೆದಿರೋದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನೇ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೋತೀನಪ್ಪ, ನಾನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಗಿವ್ another maybe 10% more that what you use. As probably now you are many of us are from the apartments. So if you think that if we have to be part of this kind of purchase ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ probably ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನಷ್ಟು ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಜೀನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಚೇಂಜು ಈಸ್ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್. ಈಗ ಗಂಡು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಎರಡು ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದೊಳಗೆ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಸಂದರ್ಭದೊಳಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ 1 in 1000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in lakh can happen like that. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ we are all carrying that kind of gene ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Today many of us are carrying that kind of gene, but it needs an opportunity to express. ಸೊ ಅದು ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಗಳು. ಒಂದು ಎಲ್ಲರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದರರ್ಥ ನಾಳೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಸಂತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಯು ಗೋ ದೇರ್, ಬೈ ಇಟ್, ವಾಶ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ವಾಶ್ಡ್, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ವಾರ್ಮ್ ವಾಟರ್ ವಾಶು, ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ವಾಟರ್ ವಾಶು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೂ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ವಾಶ್. ಫ್ರಮ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ವಾಶ್. What gets into the food, it is difficult.
See what I slightly differ with him. Kindly don't have that type of farmers ಕೊಡೋದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್, ಹೈ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ತರ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಮನಸ್ಸಿಂದ ತೆಗೆದಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಆಯಿತಾ? ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಏನು ಅಂತಂತಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕ್ಯೂಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ನಾವು ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಬೈ 100 degrees. ನಂಬರ್ 1. ನಂಬರ್ 2, ನಾವು ತಿಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಮದು ಗಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಗಟ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ 2.5 pH ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಕ್ಲೋರಿಕ್ ಸಲ್ಫ್ಯೂರಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಸಿಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ದಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗಟ್ಟಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಸಿನೋಜೆನಿಕ್, ಅದರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯುಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ವೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಅಂತಂತಂದರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪ ಅವನು. ಈಗ ಪಂಜಾಬಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡು ಅವ್ರ ಕೈ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಆ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ DNA ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದಾಗ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯುಟೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್. ಬಟ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ತಿಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯುಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿತ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಡ್, ಈಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್, ಈಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಅವರು ವಿಲೇಜಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದರು, ಯಾವುದು ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ ತಿನ್ನಿಲ್ಲ, ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕೇ ತಿಂತಾಯಿದ್ರು. She died out of cancer. So there is nothing like, there is no correlation that ನಾವು vegetables ತಿಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ is a sort of, lot of other factors which are important. So kindly give more vegetables to your children, because see ನಮಗೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು more than the carbohydrates, it is the protein and the vitamins. So never stop telling that, pesticide ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ most of them insecticides which we use is contact insecticide. Wash ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. If any vegetables you buy, you just soak them in 12 minutes in soda. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ವಾಷಿಂಗ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೋಡಾದಲ್ಲಿ 12 ನಿಮಿಷ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಸೋಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ most of the pesticides whatever is there on the top will degrade, because it is highly acidic. It immediately ಇದಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So there is nothing worry, to say that don't eat vegetables because they have a pesticide. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And I've been given 7 minutes to complete my slides, and I'll do that. When I was asked to be in this panel, I just thought about what are the questions that people asked me in the last couple of years about farming. I've been doing some greenhouse configuration for smallholding farmers. So people generally who come to me from apartments, they keep asking me some questions which I have listed here. One of them is what kind of crops we can grow on my terrace or in my balcony. So that Ashwant has already covered most of it, but I want to give a different perspective on that. So as I said, we cannot grow trees on our terrace for many reasons. What you should think of if you are just a beginner of gardening, terrace gardening, is start with leafy greens. Why leafy greens? Because you can grow any herbs, for instance, not just the leafy greens. It's one of the plants that I would recommend to start with. The reason is it requires very low light intensity compared to other plants that you can think of. Just 300 ppfd. You don't worry about what is ppfd. Just to give you what is ppfd, the sunlight in Bangalore, the direct sunlight is about 1200 ppfd. Don't worry about what is ppfd, the unit, but the amount of sunlight that we get in winter in Bangalore is about 1200 ppfd, and in summer it may go up to 2000, but I have written it as 1800. Out of this so much of light, you need only 300 ppfd for plants. All of us know plants require light to grow, and if we in our apartments, in our balcony, in our terrace, for whatever reason, we may not get sufficient light. So you should be aware of how much of light we are getting before even you start your gardening on your terrace. And this is the plant that requires the least amount of light to grow is our leafy greens. The second thing is, it just takes about 30 to 40 days for harvesting. The reason is, you just harvesting the leaves. Any plant starts with producing the leaves. Only when it has sufficient leaves, then only it starts up reproduction to produce, it starts producing flowers and fruits. So the leafy greens, it just takes about 30 to 40 days of growth to harvest. So you can enjoy whatever your work in just 30 to 40 days. And the most, and also important is, you can grow these plants in just 1 foot or less than 1 foot of growth media. It could be coco peat, it could be soil or whatever. It needs very shallow soil depth. So I would suggest you start with these leafy greens. If you have more light on your terrace or balcony, then that is the light. If the light intensity is up to 600 and 900 ppfd, I'll tell you how to measure this ppfd in the next slide. If you have a little bit more light and you have a little bit more patience to wait for 90 to 120 days, then you can grow any of these vegetables on the terrace. But I doubt you can grow any of these in balcony, because you will never get this amount of light in the balconies. But you should also have proper containers, because it needs more depth of soil or the coco peat or whatever that you need. And the other alternative is, you can grow ornamental plants. There are multiple kinds of ornamental plants, and ornamental plants, most of them, many of them we grow it for the foliage, the beautiful colored leaves that they have. Or there are ornamental plants which flowers also. So these, depending upon whether they are flowering or just the leaf producing plants, the ppfd required is just ranges from 100 to 500 ppfd. So many of these ornamental plants you can even keep inside your house, at least for a few days, not permanently. So these are some of the options that I would suggest for growing plants on the terrace. And these are the same plants that Dr. Ashwath is growing on his terrace. Now, what you shouldn't be growing are the trees, for instance. You shouldn't be, there are people who talk about growing jackfruit, guava and mango, and I have seen these plants, but they don't produce, the fruits. For instance, the mango trees, you must have seen a mango tree outside, right, on the land. It takes 2 years. Mango trees do not produce mangoes every year. It takes 2 years of photosynthesis of their physiology. They have to make their food for 2 years in the open, bright sun, and that food that is made for 2 years, they mobilize it into the fruits after 2 years. So a plant, a mango tree that is growing on the terrace cannot do that. And more importantly, you should look at the root system, which is never visible to us. Imagine this is a tree. The root system of any tree or any plant for that matter is almost a mirror image of what we see on the foliage. So if this is a foliage on the upper side, the root system almost mirrors the foliage. So if the plant, what you see on the land is of that much volume, the roots, it needs the same amount of soil and the depth and the width for the plants to grow. I hope I made that point clear. You cannot, for that reason, since you cannot provide so much of soil on the terrace, even if you have the space for the tree cover, you cannot grow these plants. Even if you grow, it will grow, but you will only be growing a bonsai plant. Those plants will produce 1 or 2 mangoes in 2 years. Is it worth to wait for 2 years of gardening for just to produce 2 mangoes in your terrace? Is your wish. So the container is the limitation. Yeah, that's the point that I wanted to make here. And the next slide is, I was talking about the PPFD. Different plants require different light requirements. There are shade-loving plants which you expose it to high light, they will get scorched and they will die. If there are plants which require slightly more light, which if you put them in shade, they will not produce the produce that you want. So how do you measure that? Fortunately, till recently, we didn't have only the scientists used to have the instruments to measure these PPFD. But now there are mobile applications, all kinds of smartphones, whether it's iPhone or Android phones. There are apps like this. The camera can estimate the PPFD that is necessary to grow the plant. These are available free. You can download it and you can study it. Very simple to use, and it's a very useful device to measure, to decide what plants you can grow on your terrace or balcony. You can just Google free app for measuring PPFD for plants, and also you can get the which plant requires how much of PPFD, and that's a very important criteria for you to decide what plants to grow. And the next thing is, some of the questions, as I said, people ask is, I bought these expensive plants. If you go to the local nurseries, you will get all these ornamental plants which are they cost about 250 rupees to 1,000 rupees. But when you buy and bring it to the house, if you don't give the proper conditions, they will die. So very many people complain this. I bought this plant for 1,000 rupees and within just 2 months it died. The reason is, there are a couple of reasons that you can think. These are beautiful plants, but they die. A couple of reasons why they die is there is no drainage. People do not give the drainage to the plants when they bring it, especially the ones who do not know, who have just started gardening. They don't give the drainage, so excess of water in the pot, it will basically, even the root system, what I was showing here, it's a living thing. If you just leave, the water in nature, when it rains, it needs water, but the excess of water drains down. The same thing should happen in our pots or whatever container that we are giving. So if you don't give the drainage, we will not know why the plants died, but it dies. The reason is if we are suffocating the roots. Unless if the root is dead, the plant is dead. The other thing is, sometimes people tend to use fertilize. They give excess of fertilizer that will scorch the plant. And the other thing is, people will not know where to keep the plant. If you do not know whether it is a shade-loving plant, whether it is a moderately light-requiring plant, then again that's a problem. And that's another reason people generally kill the expensive plants that they buy from the market. And there are other comments that people make, apartment employees. I have insects on my plants, what do I do? You have to spray insecticide, whether it is organic or synthetic. There is no other go. So I recommend certain insecticides. They spray, they say it controlled very well, but after 2 months they come back again. Oh, again the same insects have come back. Where did the insect? Dr. Ashwath was showing some of the plants, some of the insects that generally affect the urban gardeners. The aphids, the thrips, and the mealybugs. They're very tiny insects. Where do they come from? When you spray insecticide, it's not like a vaccine. It kills the insects, but it doesn't give the immunity to the plant. So again, the insect will come. But where the insects are coming, they are so. People don't realize that even on the terrace or even in the open land, the insects, they don't just fly from the neighboring plots. These very tiny insects, they flow in the air current maybe a few kilometers up in the sky. These are studies people have done, and this is one of the active research. Sometimes many insects, they cross the seas also through the air current. So they don't fly. They are winged. Many of them are winged, but they cannot fly long distances. They just get carried by the wind. And when they see some greenery, they can they can descend down onto the greenery. That's how the insects spread. There is no way you can control this. Insects, you just have to spray whenever you see these insects. So there was a lot of discussions around insecticides and their ill effects and all that. If you really want to, practice organic farming, then you have to go for, according to me, what is called protected culture. Protected culture is growing plants in a greenhouse, in a completely enclosed structure, and that's what we are working on. I'll just give you a couple of points on that. Yeah. Before that, I was telling about there are a lot of technologies to grow plants in urban areas, like the hydroponics and the vertical garden and all that. But these are technologies which were developed in the Western countries and where they have sufficient amount of electricity, a lot of money and all that. But as I said previously, the companies which have which were started, many of them, both in Europe as well as in US, if you search in the Google, you will get all of them, or 90% of them are already closed down. The reason is, there are a couple of reasons. Number one is, it's highly expensive. These are all grown mostly indoor, and you need air conditioning, and everything is grown in artificial light. And how can you replace sunlight with artificial light, at least in India? It's so expensive. So the initial investment itself is very high, because it's so much of steel structure is involved in that, and it's all has to be done in an air conditioned environment. The third thing is, the electricity. It's it needs continuous electricity for lighting all those bulbs that are inside. So, and the most important thing is, what you can grow is only lettuce and spinach. How much of lettuce you can use? How much of lettuce I can eat? You cannot produce, most of the other plants are not produced in this kind of structures. Mostly 90% of the produce that are grown in these technologies are lettuce, mostly lettuce, and spinach to a lesser extent. But people have tried with tomatoes and other things, at least with hydroponics, so not with vertical farming. People have tried, but with very limited success. People may claim, but for these reasons, all the companies which were established with multi-million-dollar investment, they have closed down. You can check with the internet. That's my conclusion. So for that reason, so are these technologies bad? No. We can probably adapt these technologies to our conditions, and that's what I'm doing. This is my pitch deck. There are a couple of slides, but pitch deck in the means, I have a startup who work on greenhouse, but we are not in the market as yet, so it's not really a pitch deck. I'll just give you an idea of what is the principle that we are trying to use to address the problems that we were talking about. How do we grow the plants in a protected environment in a much cheaper way than these technologies that are already available? Now, here is the greenhouse that we have built. This is right in 𝗕𝗵𝗂𝘀𝗁 in this campus. We have been working on this for the last 2 years, and as I said, these are relatively almost 3 times cheaper than what you get in the market. At least that's what I claim. And though that's an inside picture on the left-hand side of our greenhouse. So our idea is, I've been working only with respect to the farmers till now, till I heard the apartment owners, who said there is huge amount of water that's available in apartments. And the reason why I never worked or tested this greenhouse in apartments or urban areas is that there is a big water problem in Bangalore. If I go and claim, I will grow plants on the terrace, people will laugh at me because there is hardly water for drinking. And then how can they, think of growing in water, using water for growing plants. But now, it's good that I came to this particular event, and that I know that there is excess of water in the apartments at least, that is treated water. Whether it's useful for growing plants is something that we can discuss later. But yeah, this is a greenhouse which is about 400 square feet, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about here is you have heard of this PM Surya Ghar Yojana and all that, because they give you a lot of subsidies for generating electricity on your terrace for your own use. And the solar panel, it needs a structure to support. The solar panel installation of solar panel itself is expensive. The solar panels are expensive, plus the steel structure to support the solar structures are also expensive. What we are trying here, what we have tried here is, the structure that is used to support the solar panel, you can use that as a greenhouse structure as well. So it's a dual purpose structure. It supports the solar panel at the top and the greenhouse below. You can grow the plants below and generate electricity at the top. But you can ask the question, will it not make the shade? How can the sunlight enter the greenhouse? So that's where our selling point is. The greenhouse cover is the kind of greenhouse cover that we use is it diffuses the light. Imagine these are the solar panels that are there in the greenhouse. The shade will fall here, when there is sun directly at the top. And if we keep the light diffuser, generally the light, it travels straight, right? When it travels straight, it creates shadow below. But if you diffuse, if you scatter the light, it will scatter the light beneath the solar panel. So you don't get serious shades beneath the solar panel. That's how we have designed this particular greenhouse. And there are many other features which I don't want to go here. But the other thing I just wanted to tell is we have, as you can see, we get huge amount of sunlight in India, not just in Bangalore. This is just the figures for Bangalore. But the plants that we grow inside our greenhouses, you need very small amount of that to grow the plants. We are wasting most of the sunlight that we receive. So can we, develop technology where we can maximize the sunlight utilization for growing plants as well as for generating electricity is the concept that I have. I have just one more slide, and that is vertical farming. The same concept, I said, instead of allowing the light to pass directly into your greenhouse, scatter it. If you scatter it, then even if you have the shelves in the greenhouse, then even the shelves will get light to grow the plants. So you don't need the artificial light that people use for vertical farming and what they do in the US and other countries. So that's what our concept is, and that's what we are working on. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And I just want to acknowledge what the BAF spokesperson said at the very beginning. And using those 2 points, I want to close all the loose ends for today's discussion, one of which I think will be useful knowledge for everybody is we have excess water in apartments. I'm talking about grey water. So just want to pass this question on to whoever wants to take it up. Is treated grey water good for edible crops? Can this be utilized effectively especially in apartment communities, gated communities?
See, all these days I was thinking, like grey water, a lot of heavy elements and other things will be there. But just now I discussed with Chanakya sir, he is the one who did a lot of work on grey water. So I said there will be not much of heavy metals or phosphorus. So normally we thought in soaps and a lot of phosphorus will be there. So if these things are not there, maybe we can utilize it, because these are the one which is really troubling the plants if they have an excess phosphorus and excess acids and all. But see, as far as the plant is concerned, it is the bicarbonates and carbonates should not be there. So you should tell whether how much carbonates and bicarbonates will be there in that. If those two are not there, then probably we can grow any plant without any much problem actually.
Excuse me, here. One question. So the question is...
Yeah.
Thank you. What comes out of a bathroom, kitchen, and hand wash and washing machines is called grey water. There's no way we have any heavy metals coming in it because one, most of it we have consumed or we are going to consume or we have it on our hands. So somebody before releasing these products have considered it as safe, what we call grass generally regarded as safe. Normally there are no heavy metals, none of these complicated chemicals are there. And all the detergents that we make today are supposed to be biodegradable in our treatment plants. The phosphorus and the foaming that we see on the internet is unfortunately, as many people pointed out, not for our country. It is for the Great Lakes, where a lot of these chemicals were let into the lakes and foaming happened. Our foaming is different from their foaming. It's nothing to do with phosphorus, nothing to do with heavy metals. Again, the black water which comes from our toilet is surely what we have eaten first. If it didn't cause that time, after diluting it some 10,000 times, we should not break our head. So let us be sensitive again, as you have rightly pointed out, something called one university which started with W, right? We don't get into that. Let's be reasonable, let's reason ourselves. So,
carbonates and bicarbonates?
Carbonates and bicarbonates are luckily very, very low in this water. What we should be worried about is the sodium content. Sodium content is both troubles the soil as well as causes problem to the plants, because unlike animals whose electrolyte is balanced with sodium, plants balance their electrolytes with potassium, so they don't like it. And one last thing, I think Bangalore and Mysore has used sewage for 100 years. If it has not manifested in any serious observable problems, then we should ask why, and are we asking the right questions? Back to you, thank you. I don't want to.
Lovely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And the other point was about composting. So in gated communities, what I observe is that people usually have a composting unit at home, and there are two problems that prevail with this kind of setup, especially in a balcony garden, or if it's a ground floor as well. Rodents and smell. So for people living in gated communities, especially high-rise apartments, what is the workaround for this? Is there a solution, and what is the workaround?
Madam, I do my my composting, whatever the waste which my building is generating. We have 4-5 families. So what I found is, smell is coming if you use the waste food. If you are using only the vegetable waste, vegetable peels and fruit peels, not much smell will come. That is a fermented smell which anybody can bear it actually. So you should not use any food, food waste or chapati waste or whatever, that type of waste. Then probably the waste smell will not come. So nowadays, to reduce that smell, we have a coco pit. So every time when you put waste like fruit waste or vegetable waste, again put one more layer on coco pit, one layer of coco pit. Then again put this waste, then again layer of coco pit. Then the smell will be absorbed by the coco pit, and as well as the water also will be absorbed by the coco pit. So absolutely I don't feel any smell on that, especially on this. So rodents and of course the rats, if you are foolproof, with a net, proper net to the, see what we do is we take 100 liters one drum. So we alternatively we keep on putting it, and in the down on the drum we have made a sort of a small door, and you keep on putting your the waste and coco pit, waste coco pit, waste coco pit. So by 3 months the down one will be ready on. Right, they will be ready. So you just take it out, you keep taking it, and the top one will come down, so and it will be ready. So only rodents will come when it is spilled and something like that. So if you have put a proper net and all, rodents will not be there. And you take it from me, if you don't put any food waste, there will be no smell. Of course, if the smell will be there, that is a fermented smell, which many people who take alcohol, they like that smell.
It is called fruity smell, as sir was telling. So for us, maybe a silage or a fruity smell, it is fine. Issue is that if you follow the process of composting, there will not be smell. So we have to understand how to do home composting properly.
Can I have one? Sir, how safe is treated water, that STP water can be used for the plants? Because we don't know what is the thing. No, that's what, that measurement.
Same was the question. Let me just put, I am also an apartment.
In a common man.
I am also an apartment dweller.
Yeah.
The issue is that, as we were discussing, we have plenty of water, treated water.
Yes.
We have plenty of compost. It is made a rule now that you cannot send the mixed waste. You have to segregate. And particularly the bulk generators have to go for composting. So that is the issue, that probably we have compost, we have soil, we have plenty of space to do, not necessarily put gardens. Anything, some greenery that we can do. Nothing happens, sir. This treated water, if you can use it for gardening, nothing happens. I don't want to grow palak, no problem. Coriander, don't grow.
Normal.
Grow some ornamental plants.
Oh yeah.
So what is the problem?
And
so we are all using for ages, sir, this grey water. As sir was telling, black water we are still not used to, okay. Grey water, what is the problem?
So then can I also do a water cascade so that water will flow and it can use?
We are all using, sir, in our apartment, all the lawns, all the plants, everything is grey water. It is STP water only. We are not using the potable water for all these purposes. We can all use it, sir. No issues.
On that note, we will close today's session. Thank you all so much for being so patient, and I hope some of your questions were answered through the presentations. And if you have other questions, you can always approach.
You can always ask, you can send them.
We'll share, I think the team will share emails as well, and there's a QR code as well. So please.
QR code, has it been looked into by anybody?
Yes.
Are we expecting an answer for that or no?
Yes. So they are collating the questions. We are closing the session, the panel discussion for today.
We will get answers, no problem.
Yeah, it will come to you in the form of a playbook, is what I understand. So thank you so much once again. Thank you all, and thank you everybody.
A heartfelt thank you to our panelists for a truly engaging and insightful discussion and presentation. May I now request 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗏 from Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster and 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗏𝗍 to kindly present the mementos to our panelists. Dr. 𝗘𝗽𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Dr. Rajendra Hare. Dr. Shiv Prakash. And Ms. Ranjaneya.
And you should give lots of insights. 𝗙𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗁
Please stand for the group.
Sir.
everyone who have posted will be compiled and answered by the experts. And now for our demonstration session, it is my pleasure to invite Ms. Pratima Adiga. Ms. Adiga is a passionate terrace gardening practitioner and an advocate of the Grow Your Own Food movement. With over 9 years of experience in urban farming, she has trained and mentored hundreds of citizens in terrace gardening, composting and growing food at home. Her work has earned recognition from several horticulture organizations and institutions across the country.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. I have nothing much to talk. Actually, all the dignitaries over here have already spoken about urban farming and our gardening. And I would like to thank Mr. Dr. Rajendra Hegde. He is my guru. And because I am standing over here, he is one of the reasons. And my late guru, Vishwanath sir. So I started my journey 11 years back, and nothing could stop me. And I've been able to grow my vegetables and fruits on my terrace past 11 years. And our main motto is grow what you eat and eat what you grow. And I'm into organic farming. So some were speaking about organic and some were speaking about with chemical. So, but I am into organic farming, and I actually would like to say that I'm very happy to say in 11 years I've been able to form a community, and I have around 150 members and whom I've been able to guide them, and we just 15 days back we completed 10th year anniversary, and we're still growing strong. And I would like to say that they have become members in our family. And whatever happens in our group, early morning what we see, not good morning or good evening or good night or any forwards, it's only the kitchen, the garden harvest. and that is such a soothing, and it gives us a pleasure to see early morning seeing something very nice. Don't you all think so? So, and our group name is Composters, and the one who compost are allowed into the group, and this one we have been taking along, and it's not only one community which I have built. Wherever I have taken session there, everywhere we have formed a group. And it's such a nice that more and more people they have started growing their vegetables on their terrace. And I would like to say that as you all see, this is a simple demo which I am showing you. And my way of gardening is very, very simple. And whatever I get in the kitchen, that is my nutrition. That one I feed as a nutrition. Like it could be rice and dal water. Everybody uses. I think ಇವಗಿಂದಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಕಾಲದಿಂದನೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Are you okay if I speak in Kannada? ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಕಾಲದಿಂದನೂ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ತೊಳೆದಿದ್ದ ನೀರು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಕರ್ಬೇವಿನ ಸೊಪ್ಪಿನ ಗಿಡಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ತರ ಅದನ್ನ ಫರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಟೀಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಜೀವಾಮೃತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಹಸುವಿನ ಸಗಣಿ, ನಾಟಿ ಹಸುವಿನ ಸಗಣಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಜೀವಾಮೃತ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ, ನಮ್ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆನ ನೆನೆಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂಚೂರು ಬೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಮನೇಲೂ ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ತಿಂತೀವಿ. ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಸಿಪ್ಪೆನ ನೆನೆಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಂದು ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಬಸ್ಟರ್. ಸೊ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹೆಗಡೆ ಸರ್ ಯಾಕೋ ತುಂಬ ಹೀರೆಕಾಯಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಾಯಿಗೆ ಅದೊಂಚೂರು ತಿನ್ನಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಇವಾಗ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ರೈತರು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಾರಸಿ ತೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬೆಳೆದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಣ್ಣದು, ಇವಾಗ ಕೋತಿ ಕಾಟ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನನಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಕೋತಿ ಕಾಟ ಇದೆ, ಅಳಿಲ್ ಕಾಟ ಇದೆ, ಪಿಜನ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. ನಾವು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾಗ ನಾವು ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅವಕ್ಕೂ ಬಿಡೋ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಇವಾಗ ಯು ಆರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓಕೆ, ಕಂಬ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓವರ್ ಆಗಿಯಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ. ಸೊ ನನ್ನ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅದು. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕಂಬ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಟೆರಕೋಟಾ. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ ಇಸ್ so I'll be teaching two methods of composting. One is aerobic composting. Aerobic composting ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಕಂಟೈನರ್. either you can buy ಟೆರಕೋಟಾ or ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಬಕೆಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 5 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 3 ಬಕೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಬೆಟರ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅರೌಂಡ್ 200 to 250 rupees. So everyone can afford it, right? So what you need to do is, in aerobic composting, one thing you have to remember is, first thing is you need a container. Second one is aeration. ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಗಾಳಿ ಹೋಗಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ತೂತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ is aeration, air circulation. And third one is accelerator, ಅಂದ್ರೆ microbes. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಿಚನ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ you need to add some microbes. ಸೊ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡುಗೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಅಂತೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಇವಾಗ ಸಗಣಿ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹುಳಿ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಲರೇಟರ್. ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ರೌನ್ಸ್. ಗ್ರೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಿಚನ್ ವೇಸ್ಟು, ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ತಿಂದಿರುವಂಥ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆಗಳೇನಿದೆ ಅದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ರೌನ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಗ್ರೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ರೌನ್ಸ್. ಇವಾಗ ಗ್ರೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಬ್ರೌನ್ಸ್ either you can add coco peat or dry leaves. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಗಿಡಗಳು ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ, ಮರಗಳಿದೆ, ಮರಗಳ ಹತ್ರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೋ ಈ ಎಲೆಗಳು ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಎಲೆಗಳನ್ನೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಒಂದು ಲೋ ಇಸಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಈ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಗ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ ಮಾಡಿಡಬೇಕು. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಓಪನ್ ಟೆರೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ರೆ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀರು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇವಾಗ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಡಬ್ಬ ಬ್ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಡಬ್ಬ. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ತೂತು ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, 4 ಹೋಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ aerobic composting air circulation is very important. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ತೂತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ತರ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೇ ಹೀಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಟ್ರೇ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೀಗಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸಪೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ನೀರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಥ್ರೋ ಇಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೈಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಲಿಚೆಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ you can dilute it and use it for your plants. So in this one, ಈಗ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಡ್ರೈ ಎಲೆಗಳಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ಎಲೆಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಹೀಗೆ ಹಾಕೋಬೋದು. 1 ಇಂಚ್ ಆಗಷ್ಟು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನೆ ತರಕಾರಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆಗಳು ನೀವು ಏನು ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರ, ನೀವು ಏನು ತರಕಾರಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಉಳಿದೋಗಿರುವಂಥ ಅನ್ನ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಚಪಾತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ರೆಡ್ಡು ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಆಚೆಗಡೆ ಎಸೆಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮನೆ ತರಕಾರಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ನಮಗೇನು ಗಲೀಜ್ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಈಟಿಂಗ್, ರೈಟ್? ದ ಪೀಲ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ಇಫ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಡಿ ನಮ್ಮನೆ ಇದು ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ತರಕಾರಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಚಾಪ್ ಇಟ್. ಇವಾಗ ಕಲಂಗಡಿ ಹಣ್ಣು ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ತರಕಾರಿ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು 1 ಲೇಯರ್ ಈ ಥರ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೇಯರ್ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ದ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರೇಟರ್. ಯು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರೇಟರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್. ಸೊ 1 ಚಮಚ ಆಗಷ್ಟು ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಈಗ ಮನೇಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್ವಿಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಬ್ರೆಡ್ಡು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಒಳಗೆ ತರಕಾರಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಬ್ರೆಡ್ನ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಅದೇ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇದರೊಳಗೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆರ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಲೀವ್ಸ್, ತರಕಾರಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 1 ಚಮಚ ಆಗಷ್ಟು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು. ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸಗಣಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಈ ಥರ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. 1 ಚಮಚ ಆಗಷ್ಟು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೆನ್ ವೀಕ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು 1 ವಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು 5 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇದು ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಇದು ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಲೇಯರ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಬಂದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮುಚ್ಚಿ. ಈಗ ಇದು ಮುಗೀತಲ್ವಾ, ಈ ಡಬ್ಬ ತೆಗೆದು ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ನರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಡಬ್ಬ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ 1 kg ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗಷ್ಟು ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 1 kg ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು 4 ದಿವಸದೊಳಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ 40 to 45 days, the compost which you get will be around 8 to 9 kgs. ಈಗ 30 kg ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ 1 kg ಅಂತಂದ್ರೂ 30 ದಿವಸ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್. ಸಪೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್. ಈಗ ಕಲಂಗಡಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಲಂಗಡಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ, ಸೌತೆಕಾಯಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಈ ಥರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ನೀರಿನಂಶ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹುಳುಗಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹುಳುಗಳಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಲೇಟರ್ ಆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟರ್ನ್ ಇಂಟು ಮ್ಯಾಗೋಟ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ಟ್. ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅವಕ್ಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್? ಸಪೋಸಿಂಗ್ ತುಂಬ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕೊಕೊಪೀಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 1 fist of neem powder. So that one you can balance. So doing like that. So the third bucket, maybe you finished with the first bucket, it's gone into one corner, second bucket has gone into one corner. And the first bucket, when you see after 10 to 12 days, you will start seeing the activity is already started and it's compressing. So don't add the, whatever the peel is there, don't add on that. ಆ ಬಕೆಟ್ಗೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ನೀವು ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. ಆ ಬಕೆಟ್ನ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ನರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಈಗ ಎರಡನೇದು ಅದು ಫಿಲ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಅದನ್ನೂ ಇಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಬಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬೈ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಚಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗಡ್ಡೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳಿದಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ತೂತಿರುವಂಥ ಇದು ಬುಟ್ಟಿಗಳಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಹಣ್ಣಿನ ಬುಟ್ಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜರಡಿ ಹಿಡಿಬೋದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಅದರ್ whatever the chunks is there, you can add back to the bucket. So this is the main process what we do in aerobic composting. This is the simplest form. And once you start, the ladies start doing it, naturally even the kids will follow it. So this is aerobic composting. Any doubts with this? Yeah.
Two things. One is, you said that, I can't speak Kannada very well.
That's okay, no problem, you can please tell.
If you put seeds, like Kalingat seeds or 𝗕𝗏𝗂𝗂𝗧, all of these, when I did this at home, they started sprouting inside. What do you do when that happens?
That's okay. No, see, after a week, I forgot to tell you, after filling the bucket, you're going to keep it in one corner. See that weekly once you need to stir it. Yes, stir it, because it needs circulation, air circulation. So once you start doing it, will start compressing. But that is okay, madam. See, many a times what happens, you know, when we sow the seeds, it might not germinate. The ones which have gone into the compost, once we get it in the compost, they come out very well. And my garden fully is filled up with muskmelon, many muskmelon and many ash guards. Last year, I harvested from terrace garden, that is, I have only 900 square feet. Not last year, 2 years back, 32 kgs of ash guard. And my kids started scolding me.
Enough.
Enough. So now I'm having the same thing with ridge guard, bitter guard and brinjal. The same old thing. That's okay, fine. So that's okay, no issues.
Second question is, won't ants start coming when there is so much of undecomposed fresh food? Like even when we put it in the wet waste dustbin, I see a lot of little ants coming in around it because it is sweet probably.
Maybe because
how do you
suppose
manage that?
See, usually what I do is, usually we have not found that in the compost because we have been balancing, like greens and browns, we have been balancing. So, and maybe as you told, did you add some sweet or anything to that?
No, just the watermelon and the
tea,
sweet, right?
When you, the tea dust, the tea grounds which are left over, if you don't add that also.
And that was my next question. Tea that has been strained with milk in it, is it okay to put?
No, that's okay.
It's okay?
That's okay, no issues.
Because as Sir Doctor also said, Ashwath sir, he said that no cooked food should go in, right? Because if it's natural, uncooked food, then it ferments, doesn't have smell. But where do you get these tea leaves that are already cooked? Coffee grounds I can understand. It doesn't cause problems.
No, nothing. See, past 11 years I've been doing this, so I haven't faced any problem regarding this. And yes, sometimes, not sometimes, many a times when it starts raining and even though I have kept in the corner, the water gets in. So what happens, due to the moisture, I get these maggots. So then what I add is, I add a lot of browns and 1 fist of neem powder. That stabilizes them. So that way I am able to do very well. So monthly I get around 35 to 40 kgs of compost from my kitchen garden itself. So whatever the kitchen, the garden leaves are there, my kitchen waste, everything goes into this. Some of the things like uncooked food, like uncooked food and cooked food, like I don't usually add dal and all to this. That one I added to my anaerobic composting. In aerobic composting, I'll tell you about that. In aerobic composting, either it is chapati, leftover chapati, or some of the flour, which is not good ones. That one I added to this. Otherwise, everything, by doing this, each day is a learning process for us. Sometimes it might, a lot of moisture might be there. Sometimes you need to balance. Once you start balancing, you will know the technique of it. So aerobic composting is the simplest form where everybody can do it. Okay? there's no holes over here. This doesn't need aeration over here. So here what I have is, this one we call it as a pickled form also. Like usually we put this lemon pickle. Okay, once they start aging, it becomes very soft. Then only it's tasty, but not this one. So what happens in this one, anaerobic composting, we have for tap. We have this thing for small over here for a tap, where we can collect lichet. Okay, this we call it as bokashi also. See over here, it's not fixed over here. So it's not fixed over here, it's in this form. Okay, here inside I have a perforated basket. Okay, so inside what I do is, so all the kitchen waste, like, so this one I can keep it in my kitchen itself. In one corner I can keep it. Whatever the wet paste like whatever the tea, it might be the tea ground used one, or this muskmelon and watermelon, all this, I add it over in this. Because the moisture is there, so I get the lichet also. So what I do is, see here it's empty, I add a piece of jaggery, because we need microbes. So this one I add, this one, and a perforated basket over here. Whatever I add over here, so it gets compressed. And if I keep adding whatever is there in the garden, all the leaves, what will happen, it gets filled up fast. So here what I do, I add that. See, there's no hard and fast rule that you have to add bran. I don't use any bran for this. Usually in anaerobic composting, they use bran. I don't use bran. Either I use this jaggery I would have put, otherwise little of this, you get this sour buttermilk. You get it in powder form also. You can add that also. But I add this one. Whatever is available in my kitchen, I add that one. So I add this, and after some time, when it is filled, there is dosa, you close the lid, right? That is, it is in that form. You just press it. When you press it, what happens? It goes down, and the liquid is there, and I might not get much liquid. It might be in a mug, I might get around half mug. Even though if you add watermelon or muskmelon or any moisture liquid one, whichever has moisture, I will get liquid. And that one I divide it, multiply 50 times of water. I add 50 times of water and I add it to my plants. And the rest, what is happening? It is this thing compost over here, that is, it's in a bokashi, that is in a pickled form. What I do in a in my pot, or the ceramic pot, or in a plastic container, what I do, either I can add it to this aerobic composting, I can layer it with coco peat. Usually what I do, I layer it in the pots or this plastic container. I layer it with soil and this one layer of soil, one layer of this compost. After 10 days, my compost is ready. So, because this is already filled, I do it in a plastic container. So these two I have been doing, and it's working out fantastically for me. And some might say this might smell, but I didn't find any smell because it's only the kitchen waste which I have been using. So I am doing fantastic with this. And once you start doing, then you will know you can balance it. You will get used to it, and then if there is any alteration, you can do it. So this is how aerobic and anaerobic composting I have been doing. And simple, I'll just show you one method what I have been doing. I will not go long because, sorry, timer. My soil mixing. For container gardening, what I have been doing past 11 years, what my guru has taught, that is what I have been doing. So one proportion of soil. Anybody into gardening over here? Or you're doing? So in apartments, small. At least you can grow your greens. So one proportion of soil, one proportion of coco peat, one proportion of my vermicompost, and one proportion of my soil. So all in equal proportion I have done. That is for only one time. But later on, I add either only the compost, or if my soil is hard. But my soil is not at all hard. It's dead black in color, and only the first time it is an investment. But second time, I just add the house compost and this thing, cocoa peat. That's it. So I think if you have any doubts, you can get back to me. This is what I've been doing, and most of the things all the dignitaries have already told. So I think I'll write. Thank you.
You started with 𝗕𝗵𝗂.
That is what this is. Either you can do it in 𝗕𝗵𝗂 or in this plastic bucket I wanted to tell you. That's it. So first, I will never recommend them to invest in 𝗕𝗵𝗂. 𝗕𝗵𝗂 is around 3,000 rupees now. So what I say for a beginner is start with this bucket. Later on you can shift it to 𝗕𝗵𝗂. It is the same process. Here I told you 3 buckets you require for a member of 5. So here the same procedure over here. I have 3 buckets. Bucket in the sense it is a 𝗕𝗵𝗂. Okay, this is a terracotta version.
𝗕𝗵𝗂 is anaerobic.
So aerobic. Aerobic. So you have a poles over here and you have a aviation over here. So this ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೇಗ heat form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೇಗ ಪುಡಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಫಸ್ಟ್ I'll be adding over here I'll add a newspaper to cover over here then when this fills what happens it will go down so the second one comes up so again the second one I'll be adding over here once this fills what happens I will put the second one over here to back to this third one. So by the time these 2 fills again, that would have been composted. It's just a changing of tires over here. So if you want to invest in the beginning itself, you can do that. My suggestion is once you start learning composting, there will be hiccups in the initial stages. So once you become perfect, I would say that then you can go for 𝗕𝗵𝗂. First you start experimenting over here. Once you find any problem, like as I told, there might be worms in that is the maggots. Maggots are not harmful. They help in breaking down the compost. So I would say, suggest everybody first start with this and later on you can shift on to 𝗕𝗵𝗂.
Madam, bucket ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ 1 month ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Every day 1 kg ಅಂದ್ರೆ it takes 30 days to fill up the bucket.
3 ಅಲ್ಲ 4 bucket ಇಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು.
ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ.
I request everyone to wait as we'll be announcing the winners for the AI Grow Power.
ನಮ್ದು 30 days ಆಗೋದು ಇದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ 15 days ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು.
ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ 15 days ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸಿರೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬಕೆಟ್ ನೀವು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬಕೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಬಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಡ್ರಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಡ್ರಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಅದು ಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಸೊ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನೀವು
30 days ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ 45 days ಇರಬೇಕಾ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಹಾಕಿದಿರಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನೀವು ಬರೋಷ್ಟೊಳಗೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು 35 ದಿವಸ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾಗ್ಲೇನೆ ಅದು ನೀವು ಒಂದು 4-5 ದಿವಸ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅದು ಫುಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ತೆಗೆದು ಇಡೋಷ್ಟೊಳಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ನೀವು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ವಾರಕ್ಕೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಗಾಳಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಎತ್ತಿಟ್ಟಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 2ನೇ ಬಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ ಹೀಗೆ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಷ್ಟರೊಳಗೆ ನೀವು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಷ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. �値𝗏𝗧. Thank you for the insightful session. Now we move forward for the flash talks. Later we'll be announcing the winners. And I would like to welcome Mr. 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗧, founder and co-CEO of Happy Greens, an entrepreneur and an innovator in the urban farming space. He has been working to make sustainable food production accessible through technology-driven solution. Through Happy Greens, he is promoting hydroponics, smart farming system, and innovative grow technologies that enable people to cultivate fresh, healthy produce even in limited urban spaces. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So myself, Bharati. Election for another 10 minutes. Okay. The flash talk series. If you have walked into my apartment on a Sunday evening, right after I came from my hometown, Coimbatore, you might be thinking that I am running some kind of illegal smuggling racket. Because my floor will be full of big bags. But it is not an illegal smuggling racket. I used to get a lot of vegetables from Coimbatore. Is this some kind of familiar with many of you also, right? The reason being the kind of a taste profile or flavor I used to get back from home, I wasn't able to get back in this kind of urban setting, even from our organic delivery apps or from premium stores like that. Being a health researcher, I started researching on why this taste flavor is missing. I started to check into the medical reports of mine, my family, my children, my peers, like that. Then I uncovered a terrifying trend wherein in urban setting we are all well fed but structurally malnourished. Recent studies states that in urban population more than 80% of adults are deficient in vitamin D. More than 50% of people are deficient in vitamin B12. On the same study that was run on children in gated complexes, apartments, it has been found that more than 85% of children are suffering from so-called hidden hunger. That means our children are getting enough calories, but they are starved, they are getting starved of essential micronutrients. They are like living in a famine inside. I have been working in the AI field for last 15 years. I have been using all intelligent algorithms to develop so many applications. Then I thought I should be applying that for our human survival also. How I can bring that expertise into food. Then I thought I couldn't do that alone. I would need one partner with an engineering mind and also a heart from this city. So I'll hand over to Raj.
Yeah, thanks, Bharti. So my name is Rajendra. I'm the co-CEO of 𝗥𝗷𝗲𝗀 as well. And so I'm a native of Bangalore, and having graduated from 𝗕𝗽𝗂𝘀𝗁 and being in the corporate for about 20 years, I see this city through the lens of systems, infrastructure, and things like that. So with that, I actually looked at the report that Bharti had shared. So it felt a bit alarming, and it feels that the kind of food security and the food ecosystem that we have in the urban space is kind of broken. So having said that, I actually grew up in Bangalore, which was a very serene and green expanse, right? So now we are seeing a lot of vertical rises, so things, we are moving up vertically, but our connection to food is actually drastically down now. So with that, what we see as a current ecosystem is that the food is actually grown about 100 to 150 kilometers away from the city. So that, for example, any leafy greens or any vegetable gets prematurely harvested, and then they are brought to the city and eventually getting into our kitchen. The nutrition is quite lost, and the taste, as we all know, is definitely lost. As our previous generation would say, "Nammanelli ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ," but we are not actually getting those things. Correct? So with that, we started ideating, and we came up with a question, a fundamental engineering question. So that is, can we totally avoid this kind of logistics across cities or across states, and make the vertical movement, okay, of transport? So the transport horizontally across cities can be avoided, and vertically across floors in an apartment system can be enabled. So when doing that, we found an elegant solution, that is again hydroponics. So this thousands of years ago, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon was created by us, and then the food that was prepared there was some kind of a primitive version of hydroponics, where they also used vertical water channels. Okay, so we are now taking that ancient wisdom and building our own AI, building our own India's first AI integrated vertical garden system. Okay, so
having said that, the consumption of water, there's a lot of discussion about water, but having said that, the water itself needs to be conserved in any form, right? So the system itself uses up to 90% less water as compared to the traditional agriculture. So now switching to such a system where even a single drop of water gets recycled and utilized is not just like just a hobby, but it's definitely something that we look at modernizing the agricultural landscape and having the vertical system in place. So
with that, I'll come up with the last part. So we were advocating vertical garden systems in terms of hydroponics at apartments, complexes like that, right? But one key question will arise, even for me also. I haven't grown in a single plant. Okay, how I will take care of a vertical garden system? For the same reason, we have ideated and have created a digital agronomist app called 𝗥𝗷𝗲𝗄 app. We just buy the tower and use that app, run it. It's a computer vision loaded, can snap a picture, and an AI plant coach will guide you on how to grow. And it has a community feature also where you can share snaps or you can swap tips of how you are growing, and you can also interact with expert agronomists also. That being said, the call to action for everyone in this room from our side is very simple. For today is very simple, and we want that to start tomorrow. We are proposing a 3-step green roadmap for all the societies in Bengaluru. What is that? Step 1. If you are an individual resident, step 1 is reclaim your balcony. From whom? From that old chair or from that cloth drying hanger. Reclaim your balcony and install one vertical garden. And try to grow food for yourself, for your family, for your children, nutritious food. Step 2, the community node. If you are a part of a committee member, we welcome you to discuss with us on how you can reclaim any one corner of your clubhouse or a terrace, and you can install one community farm. Step 3, connected to that as a green harvest or a youth harvest. Let's plan one youth harvest or green harvest drive in the community complexes. We'll invite all the children, senior citizens, everyone including us. Let us do a green harvest drive. That will enable not only nutritious food, but it will also enable a very good culture amongst us. So with that being said, I thank the BAF team and BEST team for giving us the opportunity. And you can see some of the one of our tower models in action outside, and our numbers are also there. And we also want to collaborate with many people and learn and grow. And thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
Before we move to our final segment, that is the winner announcement, I'd like to invite all of you to join us for the next episode, which will focus on urban health on the 27th of June scheduled for 27th June in Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Arun Kumar from Bengaluru Apartment Federation to announce the winner for the 𝗥𝗷𝗲𝗀𝗋 AI-powered grow trees.
Thank you, Niharika. Good round of applause for her. The first winner is Vishnu T. Are you here? Okay. So we have about 170 registrants. By now I can see only about 60, 70 people. So if Vishnu T is not there, we'll go to the next and the next and the next. We'll see. 𝗔𝗍𝗂𝗀𝗋𝗋. No, they're there. What's the award he gets, Niharika?
this is our flagship Neo X40 is what we call. That's a vertical hydroponic tower which just sits about 1.5 to 1.5 by 1.5 feet, so which is essentially a small tower where you can grow up to 40 plants. So you can use it to grow leafy greens and have your requirements satisfied for a small family. So congratulations.
𝗵𝗲𝗲 gets the first one. How many do we have in all?
So
one more.
Not come, so we can take it.
𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗂𝗀𝗂𝘀𝗵. Then so where are these towers available? So Yuvraj will have collected right from outside. They have a special tower. What's it called? Vertical tower. Vertical farming tower.
Sir, that vertical tower, sir, they have to take the vertical tower and they have to bring the produce for the urban health event.
Balaji Selvaraj is here. Oh, there. Please come, Balaji. Please come. So we have the three winners. One is Yuvraj, 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗂𝘀𝗵 and Balaji. So the three winners.
Take with the towers.
Yeah, they have a deal.
I'll send what I would say.
Thank you everyone. This is the end of today's session. Please join us for the networking and the high tea, and there's a draft vehicle arranged for till the GKVK gate at 6:30 after the tea.
Ricardo.